Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. This is part two of Good Morals. And basically, I'm going to start where I left off in Matthew 5. And I'm going to read 5 and 9, right? It says, bless. This is Matthew 5 and 9, because yesterday I was touching on basically good morals as far as like, feeding the poor, have you, being a good rounded person, as a rich man, because really the true riches are in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai when you serve him, right? But this is Matthew 5 and 9. It says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Okay, so it says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they should be called the children of God. Now, I want to touch on something. There's a commandment, your neighbor. Okay, so it says, blessed are the peacemakers. And I'm going to go to Matthew 22. I want to go to Matthew 22 and 37. Because it says, blessed are the peacemakers, you know what I'm saying? And what that means is exactly what it says. Blessed are those who can make peace. Not war, but peace, especially with the saints. You see what I'm saying? Because this is only this scripture, or Slakia. This scripture, right, Matthew 5, that's written to the Israelites. Men in general, but the Israelites, okay? It was given to the Israelites to give to man, okay? Be a peacemaker. Don't be at war with the saints. You should not be at war with your brother or your sister, for the most part. If you have like any conflict or whatever, you guys resolve that. That's why it says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Blessed are the peacemakers, the one who's trying to make peace. You got the worldly people say, oh, you trying to be a mediator all the time. Why you trying to make peace? Because the scripture says, blessed are the peacemakers. You see what I'm saying? Now, don't take that out of context. There's a difference between being at peace with your own neighbor or your brother, which I'm about to read it right here, than with the other nations being at war with you. You don't have to be at peace with that. You don't have to be at peace with the so-called or the so-called white man or the other nations. No, they're your natural enemies. What this is saying, blessed are the peacemakers amongst y'all. You see what I'm saying? Amongst the Israelites. Now, of course, the scripture says, follow peace with all men, if it be so. Meaning use wisdom. Yes, the white man is the enemy, is the natural enemy, but use wisdom, because your enemy can help you out. He can, because the scripture says he'll make your enemies, your natural enemies, your footstool. But this is talking about within your own group or your ethnic group, really. And it's talking about Israelites amongst Israelites. Okay, how do I know? Because in the law, it says the same thing, right? And it's only written for Israel. So when you make peace amongst your brethren, that's a beautiful thing in the Most High, in the sight of the Most High. As a matter of fact, yes, 25. Okay, come, because it's it says blessed are the peacemakers. So this is Ecclesiasticus 25 and 1, right? And I'm gonna read down too, because there's another one in here that I want to get. Okay, it says, in three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful, both before God and man. The unity of brethren. Oh, this is the one I want. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. The unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together. You see what I'm saying? This is what the Most High wants. So this will satisfy. It says the unity of brethren. And that's only talking about amongst your fellow Israelites. Like I said, you have natural enemies, in the world, like Esau and the rest of the other nations that came up against you, put us in slavery, came up against us. But even the scripture says, follow peace with all men, though. That doesn't mean kiss everybody's ass and sell out. No, that just means be wise when it comes to that. If so, you can follow peace with all men. But especially, you want to make sure that you follow peace with your own with the people of the man and the woman of your own nation. That's why it says there are three things that was beautified and stood up beautiful both before God and man: the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and his wife that agree together. So that's why the scripture says, I'm about to read it in Matthew 22 and 37. It says, I'm sorry, 36. I'm 35, right? You get the full context. It says, then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, and saying, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Yahushua said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So when the scripture says love thy neighbor, when Yahushua told the lawyer, love your neighbor, hold on. Didn't Moses say the same thing? Hold on. Love thy neighbor. KJV. Hold on. KJV. Leviticus, right? Shalakia. Leviticus 19, right? That's what Yahweh was quoting, or who the world calls Jesus Christ. He's quoting Leviticus 19, right? Okay, this is Leviticus 19 and 17. It says, Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. You see? That's why in Ecclesiasticus it says there's three things that beautify me. That's beautiful, basically. Brethren getting along, the love of the neighbor. I'm reading Leviticus. This is what Christ was quoting for. He's quoting from Leviticus and Ecclesiasticus. So and Leviticus was written amongst for the Israelites by an Israelite, right? Moses was a Levitical priest, right? And Moses only wrote the law to the Israelites. So this is amongst Israel. Now, like I said, follow peace with all men, yes, but especially your own brethren. Okay? Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh. So this is the greatest commandment. This is what Yahweh said. The greatest commandment is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read that again. Let's go to Matthew 22. Oh no, Slovakia, not 27. Let's go to Matthew 22. You know what I'm saying? And 37. Okay. This is Matthew 22, 37. Okay. I'm gonna read 35 again. It says, then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, and saying, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Yahweh said unto him, Thou shalt love thy Lord thy God, Yahweh, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Now, this just means that, when you basically when it says these two commandments hang all the law, yeah, you keep the commandments to the best of your ability. But what it was saying is, it's like basically, I'm gonna give you an example. If I love my neighbor, I'm not gonna commit adultery. Okay, I'm not gonna cause my neighbor to sin. I'm not gonna sin against my neighbor. If my neighbor's eating pork and he's from my nation, especially, I'm not gonna cause him to sin by, I'm gonna tell him don't do that. I'm gonna give him advice. Don't eat the pork. I'm gonna break down the swine to him, which it says in the law not to do. You know what I'm saying? If my neighbor's eating abominable foods, for example, I'm gonna tell him not to do that. Him or her not to do that, because the Bible's against that. That's the love of your neighbor. I'm not gonna commit adultery with my neighbor's wife, because that's not loving your neighbor. That's hating your neighbor. Okay? I'm not gonna steal from my neighbor. I'm not gonna kill my neighbor. I'm not gonna hate my neighbor. Okay? These are just basic laws that you can keep. And give my neighbor the correct breakdown on the fringes, because you got a lot of Israelites out there who don't even know the fringes law, and they go off because they think it's those the shirts with the fringe all around. No, that's not what the fringes. That's not how we wear our fringes. But give them the correct breakdown of the fringes. telling my neighbor about the gospel, living according to the gospel. Yes, I believe in keeping the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, for all you Israelites out there who just nervous about love thy neighbor, no, it's an action word. We understand that. Telling my neighbor about the law, about the Sabbath, about the high holy days. You know what I'm saying? Making sure my neighbor is on point as he makes sure I'm on point. Now everything is not because you got to understand some laws was given during time of war, so you got to keep context. But that's the whole point of loving your neighbor as yourself. You have to love them in context. Okay, again, for all you Hebrew Israelites out there, don't come on my page talking about you say love, bro. Love is the action word. I get it. I know. Okay, but loving your neighbor is giving them your correct breakdown. Not telling them that he can't read, not calling him out him or her out of their name, and telling them that they can't read. No, tell them to go to the scripture. Let your house shall reform, not ruling over them with bitterness, not being hateful towards my brother or my sister. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna read Matthew 5 again. Okay. Blessed are they which are persecuted on Salakia. Hold on. This is Matthew 5 and 9. Okay, I'm gonna close out with this. It says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Oh, I want to deal with that real quick. Persecuted for righteousness' sake. Let's go to Galatians, which I went in Galatians yesterday. Said the same thing, but it says, watch this. This all in the spirit. It says, but the fruits of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering. The ones who persecute, who speak falsely against you, right? That's long suffering. You have to deal with that. But it says, blessed are they, who persecute you for righteousness' sake. You got to suffer with that. You got long suffering with that. You know what I'm saying? Gentleness, goodness, faith. This is the fruits of the spirit: meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. I gave an example yesterday or last night about Peter. And about the meekness that Yahweh had to display, basically when he washed his disciples' feet. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just that's just what it is, man. And all in so many words. I'm gonna read it again. I'm gonna close out. It says, "Blessed are the peacemakers." This is Matthew 5 and 9, starting at verse 9. It says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake," long suffering, right? Those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, long suffering again, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Okay, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted the prophets which were before you. Okay, I hope you guys are edified. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Shalom.